Our program begins now.
I know we're having a dance party.
Ooh. Do you guys want to just skip the panel and dance?
Yeah, all right, well, we've changed the panel. It is all dance.
Yes, that's right.
And mysterious voiceovers. Who was that guy? Where'd he come from?
I think he's actually in the corner of this
Where is
room,
he?
so maybe let's not neg him to...
Hello.
Good job.
Is it Pam? Hey, Pam. Hey,
Hello,
Amelia.
and welcome to this panel, everyone that is not actually a dance panel. I'm sorry if you're all disappointed. This is the Good Game panel. I'm your moderator, Alana Pierce, and I am joined by Michelle and Jesse.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Thank you guys all for coming out today. We're going to be showing you some footage, but first up, I just wanted to ask you guys, what exactly is Good Game? Why are we here? What's up with this?
Great question.
Yes. Well, Jesse and I, like a couple of years ago, we got together and combined our crazy experiences in esports and decided that it would make a really good comedy. So that's what happened.
Yeah, we took sad life choices and turned them into comedy gold.
Yes.
That's how that usually works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we do have a trailer to show you guys. Can we get that up?
Oh.
Oh.
The trailer is for Macintosh. Or Apple.
Yeah.
August 30th, that already happened.
Yeah, it came out Wednesday.
So it looks awesome. What goes into making something like this? This doesn't just come out of nowhere.
It's true. That is true. It was a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears. Actual blood, actually.
Somebody bled?
Jesse cut himself one day at my house at a writing meeting.
You know what?
on
You're
a
absolutely
dagger.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
How
the end of
did
that
I-
story?
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was doing. Why did
You
I
were
have a
playing
knife?
with a dagger.
Why do you have a dagger?
Because.
Why did you allow me to play with a dagger? There's a lot of story here that you're not telling anyone, and now I'm worried that I don't remember what happened exactly.
You cut yourself and you bled on my floor.
I did bleed
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
He's just
true.
like, oh my God. But yeah, it
Don't
was.
answer the question. Just keep talking about the dagger thing. What's up with that?
I don't remember how it happened.
really
I
kept
couldn't
talking
tell
about
you
it.
what I was doing with a dagger. Why would I have a dagger?
You were just twirling it like you were a badass or something.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Jesse and I were like, we wanted to tell a comedy about esports, and as you all know, it's hard to do because esports can often take itself a little too seriously. So we were trying to figure out a way to make it funny, and when we really started talking about it and combining our stories, we felt the only way to do it was to encircle it around to encase it around a fake game, because we didn't want to go with League of Legends or Heroes or Smite or Dota, because then we would sort of be beholden to a different community, and we didn't want to tell a story about a different community and say this is how that community is. We wanted to be able to tell a story about gamers who just want to play, and how do you start a pro gaming team? How do you do that? If you don't have money and sponsors and a house and a personal chef and a yoga instructor and everything that the big organizations give you, how do you do it? And this one over here, like, I've been hosting in the world and seen a lot of it. And this one over here actually started his own esports team, so we had a lot to draw from. Stellar Lotus, may it rest in peace.
Now I know why I had that dagger. Those are some deep wounds, Michelle. Deep wounds.
Hey, it was all beauty in the end,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We spent many a long night creating an amazing game that you only see just the surface of. Just the surface of this. We have way too many characters. Every character has abilities and voice lines and thumbnails and art, key art, and
Has its
art
own
in the
Twitter
game.
account.
And,
Yeah, it has its own Twitter account.
like, we put in a lot of time for something that we were just like, well, we have to make this, because the minute we say they're playing League or they're playing Dota 2 or whatever, then not only are, like you said, are we then saying, oh, well, this is what we view their community as,
Yeah.
which is not cool in any way. But then also we're sort of beholden to that company as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, what do they think of what we're doing now? And so
Like,
it was
and they
just,
could say, don't tell that joke, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to be, TVMA and really represent the way gaming is.
yeah, not sure how many of you have seen the second episode, but
How many people have seen the first episode that's here? Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool. And how many of you seen the second? Great.
second episode
Also-
people. TVMA, right? Like it is, yeah, all right.
Yeah, we had, we really wanted to tackle trolling. We wanted to tackle the, just the toxicity that happens in gaming over any community. I think we can all agree that there's a lot of toxicity that happens. So when it's on your team, how do you deal with it when you're dealing with a teammate that has a lot of toxicity?
So
And
how do
you
you
don't-
how do you present that in a way that's still funny? Some of it's pretty messed up.
Yeah, yeah.
We actually have the actor who plays Kamal here, Rahul Burry.
Our most messed up character.
He lives in Seattle, so he came by, and he killed it.
Yeah, of all the most messed up people on our show, you are the most messed up.
He looks so
You're
nice.
a terrible
Come up
person.
here for a second, Rahul. Come on, get up here. Rahul,
Yeah.
what was it like for you to have to say all those words?
I had my script next to me and Urban Dictionary. I was looking up definitions I didn't know, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
I think one of my favorite things, he comes to set and he's like, do you guys know what cuck means? Like, what have we done?
So what you're saying is you effectively ruined this innocent man, and now he's broken, and
I mean, he's 17 now.
so it's time he knows what cuck means. He's ready.
We are so sorry.
His father is here. But his parents are really, really supportive of the character, even though the character is really messed up. But, it's like kind of seeing, like, how do you deal with that when you're on a team? Like, you have to, we tackle it where we're like, okay, there's somebody who gets overly offended. Somebody who doesn't want to get offended at all because they just want to win. And so at what point do you draw the line? And when you're on a team, like someone like Sam's character, played by Jade Payton, her character, she plays tennis. Like, that's what she did. She played tennis. So she's only played single player sports. She's not used to playing on a team. She's not used to being around someone like Kamal. So it just kind of, we show the dynamic in kind of several different ways.
Yeah. Again, how do you make it funny? How do you make is some of the humor in the terrible things that you're making this nice young boy say?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah, I think the humor doesn't come from what he's saying or who he's saying it to. It comes from everyone's reactions to it.
Right.
And trying to work through the problem of, okay, this is a terrible kid, but God, is he good at this game? And we can't afford to get rid of him, so how do we deal with that? And so everyone has their own solutions, and then what it comes down to is they just need their coach to be a damn coach
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the battle in esports is kind of figuring out how do you coach, how do you manage a team, like especially when you don't have money and sponsors and everything else. So
Yeah. It's especially like esports is a lot of very young people getting very rich very quickly. Like that has to like create some egos there.
there was just a kid today. Today it was announced that Energy signed a 17-year-old for $150,000 a year.
That's crazy.
Yo,
I
I
mean,
drink energy
come
drinks
on.
all the time.
That's
Sign me
crazy,
up.
and he's playing Overwatch for $150K. So I mean,
Rockstar and Monster are like right outside.
but you make it funny because we were lucky enough to partner, to meet Dan Harmon, who to us he was been an idol to us. We love Community, we love Rick and Morty, and he believed in the project. And with his sense of humor and being able to explain gaming to him, he games, but he doesn't play MOBAs. So
Y'all, I'm going to tell you a story. The very first time that we ever had Dan over to play games with us, we were like, okay, let's pick like one of the easier MOBAs out there. We'll get him to play Heroes. It's simple. We can teach him how to play. Dude, first time out, runs directly into the enemy base. somehow lives, runs in, runs back out, and is like, I don't even know what's happening.
There's a video of it somewhere, but it's just Jesse and I sitting behind him going, what are you doing?
It was incredible. It was like watching a master who had yet to discover his true talent. We were just like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Incredible.
And some of his actual lines that he said were infused into the character of Lorenzo. So he was like, I just feel like I'm pushing random buttons. That was what Dan Harmon was saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you guys have the concept for this series that you wanted to make like before the YouTube Red partnership, or did they approach you? Like,
Oh,
how
yeah,
far
no.
back does this go?
2.5 years, actually, because I was hosting Heroes of the Dorm in 2015, the first one on ESPN2, and like, it was the first time that the mainstream in America had been really aware of esports. And on top of that, it was a college, like a collegiate tournament, so everybody had to come from their own school. So it wasn't like it was, Liquid or TSM or Cloud9 or Energy or one of the big organizations. Instead, it was people now at school saying, hey, we got to hurry up and make a team because I want to win college tuition, because that was the prize. So they were meeting each other over Reddit and Facebook, and I was getting to know all these players and asking them a bunch of questions. And the more I thought about it, I was like, this is perfect for like a Bad News Bears kind of story. So I had written like an 8-episode character arc, 8-episode series of it, and brought it to Jesse, and was like, "Hey, what do you think? You wanna come with me on this crazy ass journey?" And we sat down at a diner one day.
Yeah, it took some pancakes, but you talked me into it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Poured a lot of syrup on that. I was like, please.
I was in.
Yeah, and we did it. So we pitched it around town, and that was kind of like what we were saying earlier. Was the big thing was people were like, "No, you have to partner with a big video game. You can't make your own." And Dan Harmon got it right off the bat. He was like, oh yeah, that's how we do it. And luckily, Jesse had a lot of contacts at YouTube because, he does this YouTube thing. I don't know if you guys know that, but he does a little bit of YouTube. So, so he contacted YouTube and they loved it. So we made a nice little team, and Dan Harmon brought on our showrunners, Sarah Carbiner and Erica Rosby. They wrote the 3rd episode of this season of Rick and Morty, Vindicators. It's just awesome. They're
right.
great women, and it's a female writing team. We were so happy to have them, and Jesse and I just worked with them for months and months of just sitting down, writing, pouring out our stories. We had our original scripts and treatments, and YouTube was like, well, we have to put YouTube stars into it. And that's where we kind of had to switch things around a little bit and say, okay, well, the only people we would trust with this is the Game Grumps. That's it. Like,
That's truthfully what it was.
Yeah.
There was a search that went on for they had suggestions.
they did.
And we were like,
We're like, no.
none of these people ring true to us as being someone that would be in this show.
Mm-hmm.
And for as many times as I said, why don't I just do the show?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh God, no. I was like, there's got to be someone amazing out there who can do this. And Michele, I don't know if it was over a text or a phone call, was just like, what if we just ask the Grumps to do it? And I was like, there's no way. They're so busy. There's no way they'd do it.
And I was like this, hold my drink. And I called Aaron, and he said yes. I just gave him the concept, and he was in a hotel room somewhere on tour, and I was like, hey, random idea. What would you think of this? And he loved it. He thought it was funny. He said, I would do it for you and Jesse regardless, and absolutely. And Danny just showed up too.
He
This other
does
guy
that.
also showed up. Yeah, it's whatever. You guys are making this sound very, very easy. What are some of the challenges that went into making this? You were like, yeah, we pitched this thing, and YouTube loved it, and then we asked the Game Grumps. It's sweet.
It seems like it was like it was like a year and a half, and then overnight success.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah,
It's like
it really was struggle. Everything came together in like a week all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
It was wild. And everyone we've talked to since have been like, that does not happen.
Yeah.
Whatever this was does not happen normally. So
Witchcraft.
Yeah, and then we just we started the casting process and started to meet different actors. It was weird to be on the other side of it because I've been an actress for a really long time in Hollywood, so I'd never been on the other side of the casting couch, and it was strange. People would be coming
this is my
in.
first casting couch.
Yeah?
I loved it.
That's the
Oh,
thing you
grow
just
up.
said.
Jesse brought his own couch.
No, I meant like I got to see what it was like.
And
wow.
he loved it.
This audience. Oof.
It was
Oof.
it was cool. But Raul, what was it like for you to audition for Kamal? Did you fly down to LA?
I was just in LA and I had the audition, so I just came in.
All right, too cool.
Easy for you.
I was just around and like showed up one day.
I go back and forth between Seattle and LA, and I was in LA at the time, so yeah.
And that's how I got the role.
This is all just very easy and a giant fluke.
The role was actually, what was neat was, some of the roles, we did not think about them for his character was originally named Carlos. Yeah. And after he came in, he killed it. And we were like, oh, that's our guy. And so we renamed him Kamal.
Thank you.
He killed it.
Thank you. Appreciate
And we
it.
just picked who is best for the role. We knew we did want 2 women on the team. That was something that was really important to us, so that you didn't have like a token girl. So when Jade Payton came in for Sam, she was the girl right off the page. We knew that she was the actress for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such a fun process. The whole thing. Oh, and getting Terry Crews.
Oh yeah, that's a part of this show that we haven't brought up yet. Terry Crews is on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a caster for our esport.
he's the kill core caster.
Does he play video games?
He
He
does.
also did that
Like
Crackdown
crazy.
trailer, and he does.
Yeah. His kids are like really into gaming, so he like builds rigs and he plays with them.
I think that might be why he did the show, just because his kids are so into
'Cause his
the
kids will
world.
think
He
he's
was like,
cool.
I'm in, I'll do it.
Yeah, I think like we had written in all caps one day on an email, like, please God, please God, Terry Crews, and then one day they were like, he's doing it, and we were like, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was great. We had a bunch of people we wanted, and Terry Crews was like at the top of that list. We
He
were
should
like,
have-
get him in.
He should have to set, and me and Jesse were like, so are you Doomfist?
That's so awesome.
We spent most of the day, asking
Trying
him
to
about,
figure out if he was Doomfist.
And he kept saying things like, Blizzard Entertainment is very nice, wonderful people over there. I was like, yeah, but are you Doomfist though, bro?
Yeah.
So what's it like having, the 2-year process and all of these pieces fall together and have it actually be out in the wild now?
It's really cool. I mean, people are really kind about it, and people have been very nice. I mean, there's a lot of fan art. So I think that's a big tribute to Jesse's audience and the Grumps audience. People they love it.
You just got your first fan art.
It was amazing.
Congrats.
Yeah, I got my
I'm
first
totally impressed and thrilled about that. The amount of shipping going on
Oh,
is
yeah.
next level.
Especially between Danny and Aaron.
The scene
lot
where
of
they
that.
hold each other's hands in that first episode is all over Tumblr, and I love it.
So good. Yeah, just look up Good Game Grumps, and you will see it.
It's just everyone they're just
beauty.
holding their hands, and it's like,
Yeah, everyone wants them to get married. But yeah, it feels really good. We're stoked, and we actually, the 3rd episode's coming out on Wednesday, and so we really want you guys to see that episode. But we brought a little bit of a clip from, we brought like 10 minutes to show you of episode 4. So we wanted to give you a little sneak at that because it's our streaming episode, and we thought here at PAX that might be something you guys would be pretty into. So we're gonna give you a little sneak peek at episode 4. So for those of you who have not bought YouTube Red yet, you're gonna get a little sneak peek.
we're
Wanna see
breaking
it?
the rules, is what we're doing.
We're skipping an episode, okay?
All right,
So you want to play it?
Man, how did you guys come up with that creative name, Esports People?
Well, that's very funny. It was, there's sometimes a shorthand that you have to use with people who are more in the mainstream that don't know esports very well. So a lot of times Jesse and I would find ourselves saying, well, esports people would react like this. People who play esports people would do this. And after a while, Sarah and Erica, our showrunners, they just started to pick up on the fact we were saying that a lot, and then they named the team that, and we were like, wait, no! And we had this terrible reaction to it where we hated it.
I was horrified.
We were,
I was like, oh no.
I love that you have an actual answer to that question. That's
yeah,
amazing.
no, we hated it. And then after a while, we were like, okay, yeah, this is perfect because we should hate it and it should grow on us. So yeah, that's real.
So I really want to talk about Kill Call. You guys basically made a video game.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Well, how functional is it?
It's
game.
It's functional. It's on the StarCraft 2 engine. Actually, we had to figure out how to make a game in like 5 months, which is not, not a lot of time. We had a little bit of a head start because we had Mark Gibbons, who is from Blizzard Entertainment and Riot and Games Workshop, and he's done so much incredible artwork. So we had him do the concept art. From there, Starburns, Dan Harmon's company, brought on the Odd Gentleman, who did the reboot and remake of The King's Quest. Mm-hmm. And they did all the animation and oversaw the production direction. And then once they were doing all the rigging of the models and everything, Jesse and I recruited 4 members from the modding community for StarCraft 2, because we were like, we could build this entire thing, but it would be a shorter path and it would take less time if we just built it in StarCraft 2. So I contacted one of the co-founders of Blizzard, and he gave us the blessing to do that, as long as we didn't use any Blizzard assets, and we also can't ship the game.
That seems like every time that we saw it, there were you actually playing it.
Yeah,
Yes,
we were.
That's an actual gameplay session that was recorded for that
So cool.
scene. We had like a list of what needed to happen, and then went in and filmed that list.
Yeah, and Jesse and I sat with the entire team and would sort of choreograph and direct each one of the gameplay sequences, because they were written to go with the narrative of the show. So it's like in the second episode when Kamal's character is going up to Envy, and he's got this plan to lay all of his sweet bombs all around Envy, the way he has, it should take her to half health immediately. Mm-hmm. So we had to do that. We had to choreograph the entire thing. We're like, okay, you're coming up from the bushes on the left, and you're coming down from the top lane, and you're sitting in the jungle, and like it was a lot of choreography.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. We have some animations.
Oh my God.
That we can show you guys.
These are babies? Oh, there's one of them.
These are prior to having their special effects on them. So this is what this is what the Odd Gentleman created before we put it into the Star 2 engine.
Yeah,
and
so
this is before effects.
That was our imp child, Sweet Nuts.
Yeah. This is Calamity Jane. She's the character that Ash plays in the beginning here. That's her ultimate. It's pretty
so cool.
Look, people are clapping from out there. It's so
all
awesome.
the way out there.
Oh, this is my favorite character in the game, Manatine. He is a magic-using manatee teenager, hence Manatine.
Oh, and this is one of my favorite characters. This is Saltergeist, and he's sort of an ode to gamers because
he salts people. Guys, that's salt. That's salt.
Clearly, yes.
He's the spirit of a gamer who died, and like we said earlier, every one of these characters has alts and abilities, and his alt is he literally just kills himself out of rage. He rage quits.
Yeah, he rage quits. And he just turns into a pile of salt.
Yeah. It does damage and hurts everyone, but he just dies. That's his alt.
But he does spawn faster. These are things that don't matter, but apparently matter to us.
There's a list of them, and we were like, oh, that makes sense. One of the things that we found really interesting, and I've heard you tell this story a million times, so I'm going to tell it this time.
Do it, baby.
When we were creating the characters, Sweet Nuts, his ultimate ability, because this was very important for us, was that he kills you with kindness, so he jumps on you and hugs you to death. And we learned through the process of creating games that in order to make that happen, every single character would have to have an articulation point put on them somewhere where Sweet Nuts could then jump onto, which would require weeks and months more of work. So we had to change the alt. Which was, it was like a life lesson in game making. We were like, all right then.
And I don't even think it mattered because I don't think he ever used his alt, but we did create all of it. His alt now is he disappears for 1 minute. That's fair, right?
He can drop little bombs and stuff on the ground.
Yeah.
Look, it matters to us.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, To us at least, it makes it feel more real. Like when you watch it, you don't go, oh, I'm just watching an animation. Like games are supposed to look messy. They don't look perfect. So you can't animate messy, really.
It's also infuriating to watch people fake play video games in movies. They'll be like, the Xbox controller is clearly off, and they're just wildly tapping at things. Like, infuriating.
I'm going to say this again. It is one of my biggest pet peeves in the history of filmmaking. Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
When she comes rolling down that hill and those two kids are co-op playing Final Fantasy VIII, I can't handle it. Everything in my being is like, no! That's not how that's supposed to be! Drives me crazy.
If anyone wants to ask any questions, you guys can jump up to the mics. We have mics both sides here, so feel free to ask us some questions.
Yay, questions.
We'd love to hear.
We love them, yes, for sure.
Who are your favorite characters in Killcore?
Oh, in Killcore? God, Mother Trucker is amazing.
Will people ever see Mother Trucker?
She's always an enemy. She's always an enemy that we're playing.
That's great. We have a ton of characters in this game that exist only to be killed by the people.
By our characters.
Like our characters are playing.
Yeah. And Raul, like, you didn't play a lot of PC games prior, right? You played Vainglory, though.
Yeah, I play Vainglory.
And so what was it like? I mean, because I remember we would sit there and talk about, like, on set, how to actually hold your fingers on the keyboard when you would tap certain buttons to make sure you weren't just smashing. Like, how was that while you were acting?
Well, Vainglory wasn't anything like this, so I kind of just had to imagine something and go with what you said. So it was a completely different experience.
Had to learn to fake play a video game. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Because even though we were on green screens at that moment, we still were trying to be really careful to make sure that, like, you're not pressing your alt too much and things like that.
You're not co-op playing Final Fantasy VIII.
And it was a big,
Jesse would have quit.
Yeah, Jesse
I
would
have walked out.
He would have been soldier guys and been out of there. But it was, big credit should go to our director, Danny Jelinek, for really making the world look the way that we envisioned it. He killed it.
Yeah, seems like a lot of work. All right, so we have a couple of questions ready. Let's start on the left-hand side. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hi.
So all of you actually have a role in the movie, or in the show. So Michele, you have a character. Raul, you have a character. Jesse, you show up at the end of episode 1. You're the creator of Killcore. I'm just kind of curious. So you have a lot of actors that are really talented people, and they don't have their own characters.
Yeah.
But why exactly did you decide that you're going to give Aaron and Danny's characters names when they could have just played themselves and nobody would have batted an eye?
I think because the Grumps are who they are. Like, everyone knows who the Grumps are. And even if you watch the recent Shovel Knight commercial, right? It's just silly and stupid and fun, and Aaron is abusing that amiibo. And it's like, you get who the Grumps are, and these guys are not them, right? The character Aaron plays is just a depressive, kind of an ass.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to say that Danny plays someone other than Danny, but he's, I guess Alex is kind of very Danny. But they're different people who, over the course of the season, go down a very different life path than the Grumps do.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure there's a definitive, like, there's a line, like, it's not those guys. This isn't us telling you about their lives or what we think they are like, or we don't want to cash in on the fact that, like, you're actually watching Aaron and Danny. Like, these are their characters.
Because they were written before you casted the two of them, right?
Yeah.
So they basically had to adapt to those two things.
Pretty much. There was a little bit of tweaking that was going on. Dan Harmon actually really brilliantly pointed it out about Danny and Aaron. Originally, they were playing opposite the characters. So he was like, actually, after watching hours and hours of the Game Grumps videos and watching who they were, he was like, I think that Danny needs to be playing Alex and Aaron needs to be playing Ryland. And that was completely different from the beginning. So originally, they were playing different characters.
Good question. Thank you.
Thanks.
What's up?
Hi. So in episode 2, the whiteboard part of the scene was like one of my favorite parts, and I was wondering, in like traditional media, you have standards and practices. Did you guys have that? And like,
where's our YouTube crew?
Yeah.
You can leave now.
What, anus lips isn't okay?
God, it was part of the gag and the joke that Lorenzo thought that was what would save them all, is if they just addressed head on the idea that, like, hey, what if we just write down the words that offend us and then stop saying them again? Which is a terrible, terrible idea. And so it's just one of what we were talking about when we were talking about the episode. It's not what they were saying, it's everyone's reaction and overreaction to it. And his is just a very silly one where he's like,
It's very innocent.
Yeah, it's that innocent, like, I have an idea.
Yeah.
What if we do this? And everyone's just like, ooh.
Oh.
Thank you.
It was fun to create the whiteboard.
Yeah, I'm surprised they allowed us to do it. But TVMA, baby.
Yeah, actually, I think Michael Ornstein, the actor who is that character, did a lot with Sarah and Erica and writing onto that board that
Man
day
is a
on set. It was
genius.
funny. Yeah.
I'm going to give him a shout out. Michael did something that I realized I will never, me personally, we all know I'm a fantastic actor, one of the best. But I realized the levels of, like, acting, and he is like another stratosphere. When he would, at the very beginning, if you notice the team, they don't have chairs or anything. They're all sitting on weird stuff, and the thing he's sitting on is a ball.
Big blue ball.
A big blue ball. And so early on, every time we shot, he was just bouncing on the ball. Cut to when he gets his chairs, he does the exact same movement on the chairs. He bounces on the chairs. And I was like, that is an acting choice I never would have thought to. Like, that's next level. Like, he's used to the ball, so of course he's going to bounce on the chair. It makes perfect sense. He's been on there for a while.
That's cool.
But you would never think of that if you were just like, I'm on a set and I'm going to do my lines now.
And if you guys have ever seen Sons of Anarchy, he's Chucky in that. So he's playing a completely different kind of character.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Next question.
Poor Chucky.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I have a question about, I don't want to put you on the spot, but is this show going to be available outside the YouTube Red platform for people that don't have any money? Because I'm a preschool teacher, so yeah, I got no money to spend. So I'm just wondering
if someone wants to like buy the rights and put it somewhere, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now it's on YouTube Red, and the best pitch I can make you is that it's ad-free YouTube from now on. But like,
okay, cool.
for the foreseeable future, it won't be that I'm aware of.
Like
Yeah.
like a physical release maybe or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, potentially in the future, if we were to get additional seasons and if this was to move forward and if the crowd and the audience really loved it, it might be something we'd be able to syndicate.
If
but we don't.
the people in the audience right now just
people
tweeted
just-
at YouTube
just was like, we love it.
and said,
we
hey,
want
we
more."
love it and we want
Yeah.
it on more than just YouTube Red, we will give you kisses. I feel like YouTube would really respond to that.
How much is a YouTube Red subscription?
$9.99, I believe, and you get music, you get all their music library, and
Ad-free.
no ads. Which to me, honestly, and totally not just an ad for YouTube Red, it saves me a lot of time because I end up watching a lot of ads on YouTube, and now I realize I'm not watching. I'm like saving at least an hour a month.
And if you're like, I'm concerned about the fabulous content creators that I support on the internet, YouTube Red, actually, a percentage of that pays out to whoever you watch the most. So the more you watch of someone, the more of your subscription money they get.
Yeah.
So
Aaron
it helps
Ego
too.
Raptor actually made a video about it on his channel, so you guys should check that out because he goes into all of it and explains it if it's something you are interested in. So good question.
Thank you.
If you come up here after the panel, we will get you a YouTube Red subscription. I feel like I'm happy to put in to help you do that, and
Thank you very much.
so we'll sort that out. Okay.
We want you to see it.
Yeah.
Next question. Excellent shirt.
Oh, thank you. So I was very surprised to hear that Killcore is functional and you can actually play it. But that means that one of you must be the best at it. Who is that?
Well, I've played it a lot more. I've probably played it more than,
You've played it more than anyone, I think. Well, no, the dev team.
the mod squad
Yeah.
played it the most. Yeah.
God.
But out of the two of us, I'm definitely better.
I'm not going to fight you on that. I'd be a liar if I did.
But we're the only ones that have also ever played it, so it's kind of great to be like the world's greatest
We are the
Kill
world's-
Corps
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we are the world's greatest.
I'll be a solid number 2.
Yeah, we're good.
No one can ever take that from you, so.
We always wanted to be pro gamers.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question.
Right. Hey, obviously esports are growing a lot recently, and so is Twitch and everything related to competitive gaming. Where do you guys think it'll be 15, 20 years from now with how fast it's growing right now?
15, 20 years from now, that's a long time.
I hope it's like the horror movies, where if you die in the game, you die in real life.
All right.
Now that's the esports I
Esports
want.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, but like they fight robots and stuff. That's my dream.
Yeah, I mean, it's blowing up right now, obviously. I mean, we're seeing it with League of Legends right now, with people buying franchises, as well as with Overwatch League. You know, that's bananas. Like, I think in the next year, we're really going to see how much it breaks that glass ceiling, I suppose. It's really big, obviously, on Twitch, and you watch the games that you know. But it's about informing people that you can watch it. It is telling people that this is a fun thing to come and watch. And I think that actually the fighting game community does a great job at that.
Yeah.
Out of all of the esports, I mean, obviously MOBAs make the most money, but fighting games, they're the most accessible point. I mean, even my dad was like, he texted me one day and he's like, "What's Evo?" And I'm like, "What? Have you been on my Twitter? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "No, it's on TV." And he's 75. So he was watching it because he's used to seeing two guys fighting. Yeah. So it was an easy transformation. So I think within just the next 5 years, we're going to see, you'll see the Lakers, and then you'll end up, I think, is it in LA, the Immortals? Is it LA, the Immortals or LA? Yeah. So you'll see like the Immortals. And it'll be like they are just using the stadiums. I think we're going to see a lot of that coming in the in 2018 and 2019.
I think we're also going to get a lot more esports in general. Like games as service is a huge thing. Like Ubisoft is obviously totally pivoted towards that with games like For Honor, and even Wildlands is everything that they're trying to do is funneling esports. I mean, Rocket League is even doing that. And I think it's especially with like inbuilt tournament systems. I think the moment that games start hosting their own internal tournaments and like letting people matchmake for an ongoing tournament, like I think we're going to see that in the next 5 years, and it's just going to take over every game pretty much. So
Yeah.
But games
Makes
that
a lot
don't
of
have
money.
like an audience for esports right now, what games would you like to see have that in the future?
I don't know. I
That's
want
the
to say like
best
dating
That's the
games.
best answer
That's the
that anyone
yeah,
could have. Yeah.
It's obviously
We
Kill
can't do
Core,
better
yeah.
than that.
Kill Core is the one.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Checks in the mail.
I know, like, you just started doing press and all of that, and I don't even know how the series ends, but are you thinking of doing season 2 or thinking of anything long term?
I mean, Jesse and I are. We sit down and have a lot of brainstorming sessions of the way that we want to see the series go. We have just a lot of themes in esports that we only got 6 episodes for this first season, right? So you have to remember there's only so much you can tell in 6 22-minute episodes. So we had to kind of pick and choose and really focus on our team and our character building and getting to know these people so that when we are tackling other subjects, we know who everybody is. So this is right now, we're really setting up our world, and there are a lot of places that we want to go. I mean, gambling obviously being one of them. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
I have a lot of
CS:GO
ideas.
Lotto?
What?
CS:GO Lotto?
No
All
comment.
right. Let's not go there.
No comment on that. Wink.
We're in Washington State right now. We can't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Hi. I know you guys talked about how Aaron and Danny kind of switched roles. Is there anything else between like the storyboarding to what we're seeing now that's really dramatically changed?
Man.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. It's yes and no, because we did have to rework some things. There was a time in one of our early treatments where I was actually the manager of the team. And Dan Harmon convinced me to actually be on the team. So that was a big change. My character was more originally working in a GameStop and would sort of coach Danny and Aaron's characters, who they now play, when we didn't know the Grumps were attached in the beginning. So we had, and then at the one point we were both the game developers together. But Dan really felt that it was important to have my character on the team because I already had sort of like a background with esports.
Yeah, I think when it came to your character, it was the idea that we wanted to have Sam, who was sort of new to this world and came at it like, if we just work hard enough, we can make this happen. And then your character being like, that's not how this works. Like, they're going to crap all over you, and you don't even know it yet. And so the two of you just butting heads was kind of like a big point that they wanted to.
Yeah, and I mean, and as you go on, you kind of see aspects of Ash inside of Sam and aspects of Sam inside of Ash. And so it's important to be able to see yourself in every character, to be able to say, oh yeah, I've been like that, or oh that, everybody wants to say they're just like, obviously, Kamal. We all know we have a little bit of Kamal in us, right? Like the troll is real. We've all done it.
Maybe I've done it. I don't know.
He's like, don't look at me.
You might be the only person who hasn't,
Yeah.
which is really funny. Like, I'm very nice to everyone.
I think I am. I don't know. I didn't talk to my high school classmates in a while. Man, it feels so weird to talk up here in front of people.
Yeah, right? It's weird.
It's my first time, so.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Hey, you know what? And it's not your last. And it won't be your last.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
It was weirdly ominous. It's like you
I
thought he was
know.
going to die.
That was like, and it won't be your last.
Just wait.
Oh my God.
Did I answer
So we
your
only have a
question?
few minutes left for questions, so we might not make it to the end, but we'll try and get through as many as we can.
Thank you.
This gentleman up here? Yeah, thank you.
All right, so you guys have both been around a lot of gamers, esports people like TB and et cetera. Krendor, for example, is batshit crazy, and we all know it. How many of those people inspired like your characters, and if you get a season 2, are there more?
Everyone in this, everyone in this show, everyone or something in the games is inspired, like in Killcore is inspired by people in our lives. And I'll give you this one. My dear friend and podcast compatriot Krendor inspired a character in Killcore called Void Sloth. And he's a sloth infused with the dark powers of the void.
Yeah.
And his ultimate ability is literally just a black wall of death that slowly moves across the screen. But that's it, and he's the slowest character in the game. Oh yeah, so everyone inspired a little bit of something in the show. Yeah.
Good question.
Awesome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
I had another question, but I sort of changed my mind. So who did Dodger inspire? Is she even in there?
Well,
We look.
well, she was the assistant, was sort of inspired a little bit by Dodger, Jesse and Dodger's relationship. So in the tags and in the ends, that was sort of inspired by Dodger.
Yeah, as time goes on, in the tags at the end, you experience, for those of you who haven't seen episode 2,
It gets dark.
it gets dark, guys.
It gets dark for Jesse.
It gets real dark very quickly.
Yes.
And the assistant...
He's a game developer.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's hard to be really rich and and to be a game
We're
developer.
not trying to say anything by it.
No.
We're just saying that this particular game developer who bought a mansion and slowly went crazy
Yeah.
is
Jesse.
named Jesse,
Yeah.
and not at all based off of anyone.
No.
Not
Definitely
at all.
not. No.
Off of me,
It's you.
internet's Jesse Cox.
That's right.
Yeah.
So how
All
much
right.
money did you pay to outbid Beyonce and Jay-Z for their house?
First of all, I think it was Kanye. Your house.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely Kanye.
Yeah, your house was Kanye.
Yeah, it was Kanye.
Completely separate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Dodger is definitely the assistant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I've heard most of what the show is from basically watching Game Grumps, and I've heard like the glowing praise that Aaron and Danny have like heaped on this, and they say that they've spent like all the hours they spent like memorizing their lines, like talking to you guys, and they say how different it is from the format they're used to, and like how different it is to go from like an improvisational format like Game Grumps to something like that's scripted and all metered out like the show is. How much of the show actually ended up being improvised rather than scripted?
Actually, there was a lot of improv. Danny Jelinek, our director, he kind of comes from that world, and he really encourages it. Because if there was a line that they were stumbling on, he would say, "Wait, is that something that you would really say? And if not, how would you say it?" And so Danny would say things like, "Well, we deserve to be kicked in the nuts by a bunch of clock dancers," like, for instance. There's a lot of things that came out of just Aaron and Danny being ridiculous the more comfortable they got. Yeah, so there was a lot of improv on set from all of us. It was a lot of fun.
It is a totally different world than the YouTube world in every possible way. So being on set, you're like, what the what? Because you see how much time and energy and work goes into it. The amount of people that are on set to make one scene happen is like insane.
Yeah.
And it does not exist in the YouTube world. It's like you and a webcam.
And we got to shoot it too at the YouTube Spaces, which was really great. They have a beautiful studio in Playa Vista, and at the end of every night, there was always DJ YouTube. DJ YouTube would come on at like 8 p.m. and we'd call him DJ YouTube because we'd be in the middle of shooting and he'd be like, "What's up, everybody? Just want to let you know that you have 1 hour to vacate. Just hoping all of you guys are having a super great day. And if you guys need it," we're just like, "Really?" And it would go and he would do it every night. But they had such a great facility. They were all sweet. We had a great time there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What were some of the challenges you faced when writing a game, like implementing a story about esports? Because I know Danny had that one line about stories about esports.
Right.
The concept that we wanted to tell a story that not only explained, you had to explain what it is, you have to develop these characters, you have to not crap on the fans of esports, you have to tell a cohesive story that actually has a story. There's so much involved, and at the end of the day, it's like, how do we sort of put esports on a pedestal and say we love what we're talking about, but at the same time turn sort of a mirror back on it and be like, but at the same time, this is some crazy stuff that happens in the community.
Yeah, it was very challenging on a lot of different levels because you do have to, you're working with such a big team and you're working with so many people that are believing in this, so we want to be able to tell the best story. It was a lot of different communication, lots of months. I mean, a year of planning went into this with the entire team, and everyone really pulled together to learn it. I mean, we had everybody watching documentaries and going to actual tournaments, and just even our director bought a Cloud9 hat, and he's like, "I'm the biggest Cloud9 fan." Like, he just got super into it, and I think that's what our biggest challenge was just sort of communicating what esports was to everybody who didn't know.
Without having like health bars and like crazy stuff above characters' heads, we were like, we do not want to be that show.
Yeah.
We're just like, "Oh, I'm jacking in." Like, no, God, no. We don't want that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We managed to time this absolutely perfectly. It is pretty much almost 6:30, so I want to say congratulations to the two of you for launching this, the three of you for launching this. That's awesome.
Look at this. Yes, Rahul.
And last question, of course, is where can people watch it? Plug yourself.
All right. Well, you guys can go to the Game Grumps channel. The first episode is free. It came out Wednesday. The second episode is also currently available if you have a subscription to YouTube Red. The rest of the episodes will come out once a week in September on Wednesdays. And if you don't have YouTube Red in your country, you can get individual episodes on YouTube itself or Google Play. I also memorized that.
Thank you.